here's what product management is not. You're not the CEO of your product. I hate to break it to you, but the CEO is the CEO.
Yeah, nice.
And, you know, I've heard this one actually fairly regularly. And I think part of the fallacy with it is that it makes it seem like you are in charge of establishing the mission, vision, everything that kind of feeds into what your product is about. And that's not really what like you're doing. So
Right.
let's just kind of get that out of the way.
Yeah, and you see that so often. "You're the
Yeah.
CEO." Like, no, you're not.
And I think it actually kind of stresses product managers out. They think they have to do everything, and it's like, well, that's not really what's happening here.
Right.
Okay, so you're not Steve Jobs either. By the
Oh,
way, I hate to break it to you.
bummer.
Steve Jobs was Steve Jobs. And actually, what's interesting is that what people often emulate about Steve Jobs is not what made Steve Jobs Steve Jobs. People emulate that Steve Jobs was an asshole sometimes,
Mhm.
but the things that were great about Steve Jobs is that he was highly attuned with his customers and really paid attention to how people were experiencing things. Famously used to hide in the bushes outside of an Apple store and watch people,
Yeah.
shop in the Apple store and use the product. So,
Okay.
but you're not Steve Jobs.
Alright, so I
Yeah,
should
it's
stop
not.
wearing this turtleneck is what you're saying.
The turtleneck is not what I mean. He wore it, but that's not what made Steve
Alright.
Jobs Steve Jobs.
Okay.
You're not a project or program manager. And Ira, how are product managers different from project managers or a program manager? What I've heard is that, and I've heard this from other places, but it really resonated with me. PMs are responsible for what and why, and project managers or program managers are worried about when and how. Does that resonate with you?
Yes, that is actually a really good shortcut